Hello, I'm the Toycat, and welcome back to videos. Today we're talking about items in Minecraft which used to be rare and limited, but now no longer are. I think there'd be two reasons to do this. The first one is that it's kind of the Minecraft equivalent of that real life thing where people say, oh, you should always value what you have, like the fact that taps can pour out clean water at any time, or the fact you can go to a pump and get this magic car juice from across the world, stuff like that, but in Minecraft, where you can work out blocks that you wouldn't have been able to build with or get, previously, mixed with a bit of a history/nostalgia lesson. I figured that'd be a cool enough reason to make this video, and hopefully all of you do agree. If you do all like it, like the video, let me know, because it helps out the channel a lot, and let us know you do enjoy these sorts of videos. But with that said, let's get straight into it, shall we? And let's start with the very first, thing here, which is all the way back from TU1, and you might have heard me say this a few times before, but in case you didn't play the game back then, or you haven't heard in a previous video, basically clay used to be super, super rare when the game first came out, and this was only really because of a programming error. It wasn't actually meant to be that way, but in 1.6.6 on the PC, a bug which was then replicated onto the console, basically the only places you could find clay is if your X and Z coordinates matched, and then clay wanted to generate anyway. So if you had lakes all over your world, the only places you could find it is if you found somewhere like just over here, where at 9191, the X and Z matched up. So yeah, there was a very specific line across your map where you could find clay, and it was very, very, by the way, this is negative, so even this wouldn't have actually spawned, but there was a very specific line across your map where clay could spawn, and it basically meant that no one had clay in their worlds, and if you did have clay, you'd get like one vein like this, and then that would basically be it. And the cool thing about this is because Minecraft console does have leaderboards, when the game first came out, you'd look at the leaderboards, and it'd be like, on that clay column, everyone has a bunch now, it'd be like 00000, and then the guy down there free, Mega vs Prime, he'd be like, wow, that guy got free clay, that's mind-blowingly cool. So yeah, basically, that's why I'm so amazed today whenever I see the fact that you can get like 20, 30, 40 clay just in a tiny area, because it's like, wow, there's this super rare resource that we used to fight over like 4 or 5 of, and you can get like hundreds of it pretty easy now. And yeah, this next time you build something out of clay and bricks, this is the closest I could make. It looks like something almost, right? But yeah, if next time you build something out of clay and bricks, you should be like, isn't that a cool thing you do? Or if you want to go the opposite way and you're like, I don't want to ever build something out of that, then just remember that the brick texture doesn't properly match up, and you can never unsee it once you see it. So I'm sorry if I've ruined bricks for you forever now, but with that said, let's move on to the second item, which used to be rare, but now no longer is, because it is to do with the nether. So we're actually going to go over there, because glowstone is one of the coolest forms of lighting. I think everyone's agreed with that, and ever since Minecraft console has come out, there was always at least 3 options you could have. There was the jack-o'-lantern, which was kind of awkward because you have to place it on top of something. There was the torch, which has to be placed on the side of something, or it gives you a weaker, strength than the other two, but you also had glowstone, and glowstone is probably the most loved form of lighting, even in the game to this day today. I think it's probably loved by more than the actual sea lanterns, but the weird thing about glowstone before is once you went to your nether, you mined up all the glowstone you found, you went to look for more, and if you ran out of, glowstone in your nether, then you just ran out of glowstone in the world, period, because once, you never generated with a certain amount of glowstone, and once that was gone, it was gone forever. So, fortunately, in TU8, so like how clay was fixed in TU2, in TU8, they actually decided, we're going to make a way to make it renewable, and they made it so that blazes would drop it, and then, in TU10, they made it so you could reset your nether, and now glowstone has gone from being one of the rarer resources, which was really sought after, but would eventually run out, to being one that is literally infinite. That's right, glowstone is less rare than dirt on a technicality, which is a really cool fun fact you might not have known about glowstone. So yeah, glowstone, it's pretty cool, and it's not quite so rare anymore, which I think is a good thing, and I hope all of you do too. So yeah, with that said, let's move on to the third little thing here, which is, I guess, again, it used to be rare, but now no longer is, because it is the Coca Beans. So Coca Beans didn't used to have quite the use they did today, because today you can place them on the side of a jungle tree, and then you can make a farm out of them, and once you've done that, I guess you make cookies. But yeah, Coca Beans used to really only exist for cookies, which used to be a little bit more valuable, which made them like a rare item you could only find in dungeons. You used to have to find into a dungeon chest if you wanted to find your Coca Beans, and this was really awkward if you wanted to make some brown dye, because obviously, you only have like, let's say, 5-10 dungeons in the world. Once you found all the Coca Beans, it's just kind of run out, and that was that was a crazy phase of Minecraft's development. And even later on, if you have an old world, you can never get Coca Beans again, because you need jungles to find cocoa now, whereas before, it used to be purely found in these chests right here. So yeah, this used to be wacky, because it, one, meant that cookies were this sign that you'd done this really rare thing, but second of all, it meant that if you wanted to get brown dye of any form, it was just a nightmare. And long story short, Coca Beans are much better in their current form, where again, you can farm them on the side of a tree, if you can find one. I mean, there's meant to be one around here somewhere, but yeah, if you can find a jungle log anywhere, then you place these on the side, and suddenly you start farming them, which I think is much better. And yeah, that's something that's only existed since TU12. So just remember, next time you're farming Coca Beans, or you're making brown dye, the people used to have to fight and die, quite literally, because of the mob spawners, to find these things, and now you get them quite easily. So yeah, the next item, the fourth one, which used to be rare, but now no longer is actually a type of crop. So kind of in the same way that beetroot, right now, if you don't find it in a village, you won't find it ever. That's the same thing that, happened with carrots and potatoes. Like, you look through your village, and you just pray that they have carrots carrots or potatoes. So, you might not even get a village in your world, but you hope you have a village. You hope that village brings you carrots or potatoes. In this case, it didn't. It's like, oh, I guess I don't get those new features then. Fortunately, in TU15, they decided, let's make it so zombies will drop those features. I think that was like a 1.4 feature or something. They made it so that zombies will then drop carrots and potatoes, and now they can be found infinitely, and as soon as you get one, you farm them a whole bunch. I mean, this is a bad example, because I guess something must have trampled on my farm a whole bunch, but yeah, this is a bad example, but at some point, back in the day, it was actually carrots and potatoes were only found in villages, and only sometimes, which was kind of crazy when you think about it, because obviously on console, there's a limited world where you might not necessarily even get a village. So yeah, carrots and potatoes used to be a somewhat rare item, like some worlds have them, some worlds don't, and nowadays you can find one every world because of the zombie, which is something I think they should do for more items, make a mob drop them, because you'll notice how that's a solution for two separate problems here, glowstone and for carrots and potatoes. Maybe every, console rare item could be fixed that way. Maybe that's just my opinion though, because I wanted to move on to the final item, which used to be rare and now no longer is, and every time I look at the bee I get a little distracted, because it is actually the saddle. So the saddle was in the same boat as the Coca Bean. It was only found in these dungeon chests, and the reason for that is because you didn't really ever need the saddle, because saddles weren't for horses back then. They used to be just for pigs, and this was before you could even, pick the direction of the pig. So you hop on your pig, and then this is what would happen. You just kind of wait till he does something. It wasn't an efficient form of transport. It was just a fun thing Notch decided to put in as almost like a joke. But yeah, basically saddles only existed for this purpose until all the way into like, TU 20 something, I believe it was, where they decided to make it so you could trade the villagers or fish of them. I think it was TU25 maybe. But until that point, all it was just, oh yeah, well, you just kind of, you hope you have a mob spawner. Don't have a mob spawner, don't get to ride your horses. Because, again, in TU19 they made it from blacksmith chests, but even then, you had to find it from limited time loot places. If you didn't happen to find any, which was some worlds, a lot of people got unlucky, then you don't get to ride your horses. Or, more importantly to some, your pick. So, yeah, that is the 5 rare items, which used to be really rare, and now no longer are on Minecraft console. I really do think, like I hit on it in the middle there, that I think a cool way to fix pretty much any rare item on console that can only be found from structures, the way chiseled stone used to be, there's a few less like that, but, the way to actually fix these things is to make it so that, again, I guess the best way was to make it so mobs can drop any item, which would be found infinitely on the PC, or, near infinitely, but is only found rarely. I think that's a cool solution for the future, and I think we might see it done more often. Or maybe we won't, I don't know for sure. Either way, I hope you did all enjoy today's video. If you did all like it, like the video, let me know, because it helps out the channel and lets us know you did like this video. Share if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here, because I make videos like this one every single day on my channel, and if you subscribe, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you all very much for watching. By the way, you didn't actually used to get a saddle when you killed a pig. It used to die with the pig, which I know it's almost more beautiful than the current version. But yeah, hope you did all enjoy the video, because I will see you all in the next one. So goodbye everyone.